Now, if you're a command line junkie, like a lot of Linux and SSH users are, then you probably love the terminal that you get when you use Secure Shell. Now, if you're like the rest of us, on the other hand, where a good GUI tool is useful sometimes, or you just like to work with GUI applications, don't fret. You can actually open up a GUI tool or application through SSH. That's very possible. It's possible through a process called X11 forwarding or X11 tunneling. Now, X11 forwarding has to be enabled on both the server and the client, usually through config files. You can also use it on a per session basis from the client side through the command line option, providing it's set up on the server. You can also configure this permanently to be used on the client as well. Now, the actual entry to files that you need is very simple. It's a one-line file. It's just forward X11, and then the indicator for it is yes. So forward X11 yes. If this is commented out already, just uncomment it. If the line is not in your file, just add it. And you would add that in the appropriate configuration file for the server or for the client as indicated on the screen. Now, you can also enable it for just a specific user only. So only a specific user can use these graphical tools. And you would add an entry, that same entry, to the user's tilde.ssh.config file. And that's the config file that's used for specific users. Let's go ahead and take a look at an example of how to use a few graphical tools through SSH. Okay, we're in the desktop of computer B. Let's go ahead and open up a terminal prompt. And we're just going to do a simple connection to computer A over SSH. But this time we're going to throw in a switch that we haven't seen before, the -X switch. And we're going to log into computer A. And we get our passphrase because we're using public keys. And we're logged into computer A. Now, let's say we want to use a particular graphical tool or utility that we like. We could run it, but unfortunately that would take up our entire shell there. So let's run it and background it. For example, xclock. Not a very useful tool, but it's a graphical tool nonetheless. And we're going to background it so we can still have access to our command prompt using the ampersand. Any process that you want to run the background, just put the ampersand there and it'll run. So let's go ahead and start that, and voila, we get the clock on our desktop, and that clock is actually running from computer A. Now, we can go ahead and run another utility, a more useful utility. Let's say that we want to do some file browsing, but we want to do this quick, and we want to be able to drag and drop. We could run Nautilus, for example, from computer A. And let's background that process as well. So it's going to start up. We're going to get Nautilus started and running. And suddenly we're running the Nautilus file browser from computer A on computer B. And now we can browse around in the computer. We can see what's there. We can do dragging and dropping and so forth. So actually it would be very useful to use those kinds of tools, those graphical tools. Let's go ahead and close this window. Nautilus is shut down, and we can close the clock as we like as well. Now we're back out of these graphical utilities, and we can exit our Secure Shell session. And that's really all you have to do to use the graphical tools and utilities, your favorite tools, over Secure Shell session.